You feel it before you understand it. Someone speaks to you in a tone you did not deserve, and something inside you tightens. A message goes unanswered for too long, and your mind begins building a story you never asked it to build. You tell yourself you are in control of your life, yet a stranger's opinion, a delayed reply, a small failure can quietly steer your entire mood for the rest of the day. You think the problem is out there, the person, the situation, the unfairness of it all. But what if the real battle was never outside you? What if, this entire time, the war has been happening in a place you rarely examine your own mind? 2,000 years ago, a group of thinkers built an entire philosophy around this exact discovery. Not a philosophy of suppression, not a philosophy of coldness, a philosophy of mastery. And by the end of this, you may realize that the peace you have been chasing outside yourself was something you were always capable of generating from within. Marcus Aurelius, a man who ruled an empire, still had to remind himself of a simple truth every morning. Some things belong to us, and some things never will. Your thoughts, your effort, your choices, your response, these are yours. The weather, other people's opinions, the outcome of tomorrow's meeting, these were never yours to command. Most suffering begins the moment we forget this line. Take a problem troubling you right now, split it in half. What part of it can you actually act on? What part of it is simply happening to you, regardless of what you feel about it? Most people spend their energy fighting the second half. But here's the deeper question this creates. If controlling the external world was always impossible, what happens the moment you turn that same effort inward, toward the one thing you actually can command? That question leads to something the Stoics called Ataraxia, a mind undisturbed, like still water beneath a restless sky. This does not mean becoming numb. It does not mean pretending nothing hurts. It means learning the difference between feeling a wave and being swept away by it. A Stoic still feels anger, sadness, fear. The difference is that these emotions pass through him like weather passes over a mountain, noticed, acknowledged, but never mistaken for the mountain itself. Try this the next time something disturbs you. Pause, take 3 slow breaths. Simply observe what you are feeling without immediately obeying it. This alone begins to loosen emotion's grip, but controlling your reaction is only the beginning, because often it is not the event that hurts us. It is the story we quietly attach to it. The mind rarely stops at what happened. It adds meaning. It adds fear. It adds a narrative about what this says about you, or what it might lead to. Someone doesn't reply to your message, and within minutes your mind has invented an entire explanation involving rejection or betrayal. Try separating the two. Write down only the observable fact. They have not replied in 3 hours. No interpretation. No adjectives. Notice how much lighter that sentence feels compared to the story your mind wanted to tell. This is objective vision, seeing what actually happened, instead of the emotional filter layered on top of it. Yet even clear thinking cannot fully remove fear on its own, because the Stoics understood something deeper about how the mind handles uncertainty. They called it premeditatio malorum, the practice of mentally rehearsing difficulty before it arrives. Not pessimism, preparation. Imagine the conversation you are dreading. Let yourself sit with the possibility of it going badly. Ask yourself honestly, if this happened, what would I do next? What resources, skills, or people would still be available to me? Something strange happens when you do this. The fear that once felt enormous and formless becomes specific, and specific fear is far easier to face than vague dread. This is why the ancient Stoics rehearsed loss, rejection, and failure not to invite suffering, but to remove its element of surprise. But even the most prepared mind will still suffer if its happiness remains chained to things it was never meant to control. This is where detachment enters, and it is one of the most misunderstood ideas in Stoic thought. Detachment does not mean coldness. It does not mean refusing to love, care, or invest in life. It means refusing to hand your inner peace over to things outside your control, other people's opinions, approval, recognition, the unpredictable behavior of others. What has been quietly controlling your mood lately? A comment someone made? A number on a screen? The next time something disturbs you, ask a simple question. Is this actually within my control? If the answer is no, practice loosening your grip, the way you would release a rope you no longer need to hold. Freedom, strangely, does not come from gaining more control. Sometimes it comes from realizing how much you never needed. This naturally leads to a harder truth. Inner peace cannot depend entirely on other people. Emotional self-sufficiency is not isolation. It is the ability to remain steady even when the applause stops. It is built through solitude, personal integrity and actions aligned with your own values rather than the approval of a crowd. Ask yourself honestly, if everyone stopped approving of you tomorrow, would you still respect the person looking back at you in the mirror? That question alone reveals how much of your peace currently rests in other people's hands. But even strong emotion, however self-sufficient you become, still needs something to answer to. For the Stoics, that something was reason. Reason was the space between what happens to you and what you choose to do about it. The emotion may rise automatically, but the reaction is a choice. Before responding to something that disturbs you, ask, what actually triggered this? Is it within my control? Is my reaction proportional to what happened? Would I respect this response tomorrow? Build a pause into your life, 3 breaths, 10 seconds, a walk around the block, a night of sleep before a major decision. The goal was never to eliminate emotion entirely. The goal was to create enough space to choose your next action deliberately, rather than being dragged into it. This kind of mastery requires observation, which is why the Stoics practiced daily reflection. Each evening, ask 3 questions. Did I act according to my values today? Where did I lose control? What will I do differently tomorrow? This is not generic productivity advice, it is philosophical training. Every mistake becomes information instead of shame. What would change if you stopped judging your errors and started studying them instead? Because once you begin studying your reactions, you start to notice something important. Your emotions themselves are trying to tell you something. Anger often reveals a boundary that was crossed or an expectation that went unmet. Fear often reveals uncertainty or an attachment you did not know you had. Sadness often points towards something that once held meaning for you. The Stoic principle here is simple but powerful. Do not obey every emotion, study it first. Ask what it is trying to show you, then decide whether it deserves action. This prevents Stoicism from being misunderstood as suppression. Feeling comes first. Understanding comes next. Then and only then comes the choice of how to act. But once you understand that not every emotion deserves obedience, another question naturally follows. Which emotions deserve your attention at all? This is Stoic apatheia, freedom from being enslaved by every emotional impulse that arises, not the absence of feeling altogether. Picture an internal courtroom where not every complaint deserves a hearing. A stranger's insult, a hostile comment online, a minor inconvenience in traffic. Ask yourself honestly, is this worth disturbing my peace over? Some battles deserve your full attention, a genuine injustice, a real responsibility, a meaningful relationship. Others do not. Wisdom is partly the skill of knowing the difference. And no matter how disciplined you become at choosing your battles, eventually life will test everything you have practiced, all at once. This is where resilience is built, not by avoiding hardship, but by walking directly through it. Every uncomfortable conversation you survive, every criticism you absorb without collapsing, every difficult moment you move through instead of around, becomes evidence. I have survived hard things before. This evidence compounds. The Stoic does not pretend pain does not exist. He can feel disappointment, fear, and grief and still choose his next action anyway. The goal was never to build a life free of storms. The goal was to become someone who does not collapse when the storm finally arrives, because by then, you have already rehearsed standing in the rain. So how does this become something you actually live, rather than something you simply understood for a few minutes? Build it into your day. In the morning, ask what lies outside your control today. During difficulty, ask what your next controllable action is. Under emotional pressure, ask what story you are quietly adding to the situation. Before reacting, ask if you would respect this response tomorrow. At night, ask what today taught you. Which one of these, practiced honestly for the next 30 days, do you think would change your life the most? You began this by recognizing a familiar ache, the sense that your peace was being decided by things outside yourself. Along the way, you learned to separate what is yours from what never was. You learned that stillness is not the absence of emotion, but mastery over it. You learned to see events clearly, to prepare your mind before hardship arrives, and to release your grip on what was never yours to hold. You learned that reason is the space where real choice begins, that reflection turns mistakes into wisdom, and that even your hardest emotions are simply trying to speak to you. This is not the end of the philosophy, it is only the first layer. The deeper you practice these principles, the more patterns you begin noticing in your own mind that you once completely ignored. If this helped you see yourself a little differently, comment discipline so I know you made it to the end. And if you are serious about mastering your mind rather than simply hearing about it, Subscribe to Anonymous Achiever, there is far more waiting beneath the surface. In the end, the goal was never to feel nothing. It was to finally feel in control of what you feel.